is going to be the word master, and Sharon has readily agreed to be our word master. So, Sharon, would you want to explain your role, please?
First, I'll unmute. That helps. I'm going to present a word of the day, and I'm just going to watch for how many times the word of the day is used. And the word of the day is going to be oblivious, lacking conscious, or awareness of something. Oblivious. And I'll put that in the chat.
Thank you so much, Sharon. Our next role for today is the Toastmaster of the day, who unfortunately is not here. So we are moving ahead. And I am the general evaluator of the meeting. So I'm going to explain my role. As a general evaluator, I am going to evaluate each and everything which is not formally evaluated. Today seems to be one of those days where we have many people, it seems, having difficulty in joining through network. So let me quickly go through and check. I know Anna pinged me that they're having some network connection from China. So I'm going to ask Mark, in case the speaker from China and the evaluator from China is not able to join. We do have one speaker, Shruti, in the meeting, and you can do her evaluation. I will, yeah, I will share her evaluation sheet over email, or you can do a general evaluation as well. And we also do not have a timer for tonight, but I can be timer if required. I'll use my Zoom virtual background. Shruti, if I'm not wrong, your speech is 5 to 7 minutes?
Yes, it is 5 to 7 minutes.
Okay. So for Shruti's speech, I'll be setting my virtual background to green at the end of 5 minutes, yellow at the end of 6 minutes, and red at the end of 7 minutes. And she will have 30 seconds on either side. Similarly, for table topics, we will have green at 1, yellow at 1.5, and red at 2. Similarly, for evaluation, 1, 1.5, and 2. And for table topics evaluation, it will be 2, 2.5, and 3. So with that in mind, and seeing that we still do not have our Toastmaster of the day, I'm going to ask Anna. She's going to have a fun session with us. So Anna, would you, and before that, let me ask Jan. Jan is our R counter. Jan, can you explain your role?
Yes, I'm going to be the ah counter today, and what that entails is I will be listening to everyone's speeches and their topics, and listening whether you say ah or use a different fuller word like so or like or you know. I'll also be listening for the word of the day. The word of the day is oblivious. So if you say that, I will make a notation next to your name and count. And I just said and count how many times you said the word of the day.
Thank you, Jan. So just to, yeah, Jerry, you want to say something?
Yes, Jan. In this club, we have divided the role of counter and word master. So Sharon will be counting the word and doing the grammar, and you will be simply looking for the ahs, ums, and verbal interjections and so forth. So you do not have to worry about the word of the day.
Okay, thank you for explaining that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Jerry, for interjecting. We also have Lucy, who's our second speaker, and I'm assuming she's also going to have speech for 5 to 7 minutes. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, great. So I am the timer as well. So I'll be showing my virtual background as green, yellow, and red. So without further ado, let's welcome Anna, who's going to have something interesting for us. So over to Anna.
So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, dear Toastmasters. I'm so glad I have this special section for today. It's get us all know each other a little bit more than we used to be. Since this is our club special section that we are targeting to Charters Club, I think it's a good idea to get us to more connected as members of our club. So this section is very simple. Everyone, you have 30 seconds to introduce yourself and ending with sentence saying, nobody asked, but. Okay, now I will start an example of myself. Hello, everyone. I am Anna Kang. I have been Toastmaster for 7 years, now a member of Pioneer 17 Toastmaster Club and some other Toastmaster clubs. I'm living in US and working in automotive industry as quality engineering. Nobody asked, but I have been to 52 states of the US and 34 provinces of China. After all this is my introduce section for myself. Then the next member will comment to me, say if I'm telling the truth or false for my last sentence. My last sentence is, nobody asked, but I have been to the 52 states of US and 34 provinces of China. Clear? Okay. So that's our rule for now. I want to first ask Jerry, since you are not mute yourself. You want to be the first one?
Sure.
Okay.
Well, I will begin by saying I believe that your last statement is false. I do not think you have been to all states of the United States, and I rather suspect you have not been to all of the provinces in China, though I am not quite so sure of that. I am Jerry Zimmerman. I am from Indianapolis, Indiana, which is a state in the middle of the United States. If you know where Chicago is, we are about 100 miles south and a bit east of Chicago. I am a retired college professor and a longtime Toastmaster. And for my statement, gosh, I have trouble coming up with things like this. That's strange, isn't it? I'm going to tell Yash, because you're going to be next. Yash, I have been to 4 European countries: Great Britain, Spain, Hungary, and France. So on to you, Yash.
Yeah, thanks, Jerry. So your statement that you have made that you have been to the 4 European countries. So I believe this is the correct statement. This is true. The reason for this, you took a long pause while giving me the 4th country. So it was in your mind that how many countries you have visited in Europe. So while while taking a pause, I guess that this statement is true. And it's good that you have visited the 4th country out of 26 countries that we have in Europe. And as far as if I'll talk about myself, my name is Yash Kalra. I am from India. As if now I am in United Kingdom on intercompany transfer visa. I'm an IT professional. And if you talk about my hobbies, then my hobbies is watching cricket And nowadays I am away from my family, so I also love cooking as well. And now I am handing this over to Mark, and my statement is I have visited 10 states back in India.
Fellow Toastmasters, Josh, I want to thank you for a chance to introduce myself. Like a few of us, I also live in the central part of the United States. We call it the center because the other parts of it sort of teeter around us. So we're really the center of the United States here in Indiana. Nobody believes that but us, but nevertheless, it could be true. I've been in Toastmasters for 7 years, managed to squeeze a whole DTM into only 7 years. Quite an accomplishment. I'm going to try to get a second one in 1 year. We'll see. We'll see. As far as Yasha's statement goes, I have absolutely no idea. I have the feeling, though, that Yash may be telling the truth because I think he got a haircut in each state he visited. That would be my best guess, and I'm going to leave it at that. As far as this, I must tell you that nobody asked me, but I have actually run for political office in the United States of America. I'm not going to say when or for which office, but it was above the state level. And I think I'm going to turn that over to Jan.
Thank you, Mark. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone here today. My name is Jan Goditis, and I live in Bloomington, Indiana, which is in the southern part of Indiana. It's a lot hillier. It's a lot hillier than the rest of Indiana, which is more flat, going closer to Chicago. But in the southern part, it's hilly. And they even have in Bloomington, which would happen in October if there wasn't a pandemic, the Hilly 100, where you ride 50 miles on your bike each day. And I actually did that when I was much younger. So you ride your bike for 100 miles on the Hilly 100. And my statement, whether true or false, is that after riding on the Hilly 100, my husband asked me to marry him. And I said no. True or false? That too. And I'll call on Ann. And who else hasn't gone? Nancy, would you like to go next?
Sure, thank you, Jane. So just being online, so I don't quite get clear about the question. Is it a self-introduction?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Nancy Wang. I was born in China, Beijing, and I live in Beijing now. I have been in Toastmasters for 16 years. Yes, 16 years. And I have been a DTM. Thank you. I have been a DTM for 5 years. Yes, I got my DTM title for almost 10 years. Very happy to be here, and thank you for the introduction of my dear friend, Lucy. And today I really look forward to see all of your guys' performances, and I really want to be a part of, one member of this club. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Sorry, I want to break in a little bit. So yes, it's an introduction section, but sorry, I didn't explain clear. In the beginning, you will say, Jan gave a statement about herself saying, nobody asked, but, and you will comment her if she's telling the truth or false. Then you introduce yourself. And in the end, you will state your one thing for yourself about nobody asked, but then let the point the next person, pick the next person to introduce and also answer if you are telling truth or false.
Oh, yeah.
I got you.
So I just, due to the time, So I'll just ask the other person. Lucy, have you already said something?
Okay,
Lucy.
thank you. Can you hear me? Okay, can you hear me? Yeah, I think my network is not so good. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we
Yeah.
can hear you.
Okay. I want to start with nobody asked but. Nobody asked me to turn on my video, but I like to turn on my video. And hello everyone, I'm Lucy. I'm from China, Beijing. And I'm mentee of Nancy. So I'm also a big fan of Nancy. And this is my third time to attend your meeting. I found this is a very interesting place where we can exchange different ideas and perspectives. So finally, I would like to say one thing, if you think it is true or false. Okay, at home, I love cooking. I cook all the dishes for me and my fiance. So do you think it is true or false? I would like to hand it over to Sharon.
Lucy, actually, I think your statement is true. Nobody asked, but I ride motorcycles, and I rode a motorcycle from Texas to Florida, and I had a red jacket with fringes on it that flew behind me like a cape. So when I passed people, they thought I was Wonder Woman. I've been in Toastmaster over 40 years. However, when I moved from state to state, I didn't inform Toastmaster International, and so it started up a new membership. And then I asked, why did I get credit for my 40 years? They said, because you didn't tell us. So I'm currently area director, and I don't know what role I haven't had in Toastmaster. And now I'm looking to see who hasn't had a chance yet, because I'm kind of being, I figured that out. So
Haritosh.
without being too oblivious, I'll go ahead and pick Haritosh.
Thank you. Sharon, I've heard you speak and I know you are very courageous. So I believe the statement that you have been a Wonder Woman. I've done all the bike riding. I think that is true, if I am not wrong. Hi everyone, my name is Haritosh Srivastav. I am a Toastmaster for last 4.5 years now. Completed my DTM last year. I've been part of multiple Toastmaster club in different geographies, and that's pretty much it that you want to know now. In terms of the nobody asked, but I have lived in 10 different cities in last 18 years. That's my statement. And I would like to ask this question to Mitiksha. Mitiksha, are you able to unmute? And
Hello, am I audible?
yes, you are audible and
So,
visible.
first of all, thank you, Haritosh, for giving me the opportunity to introduce myself. Hello, everyone. I am Toastmaster Matiksha from India, Impact Toastmasters Club. And I think Haritosh's statement is wrong. And as for my part, nobody asked me, but I have tasted the kuch bhi dishes of Haritosh. So I would now like to hand over it to someone else, maybe Shruti.
Yeah. Hi all, it's Shruti here from India, and I have been a part of TCS Maitree Toastmasters Club Indore for more than 1 year. And nobody asked me, but I would like to reveal that today is the International Charity Day. And what Mitiksha said, I do not agree with it, and it's a false statement, what I believe is. Back to you, Steve.
Okay, thank you very much, Shruti. I'm so glad that I guess everybody already talked, right? If not, please hands up, call me now. Okay, great. Thank you so much for your participation. This is really, really fun section. I'm still trying to guessing some of you, are you telling the truth or false? If you'll be so kind, please reply to the chart to everybody. Let us know what you say is right, true, or false. Thank you. I'm so happy to have to this section today. And now let's move to our normal meeting section. I will be the Toastmaster of today. And we already have the first section of introduction of our general evaluator, timer, counter. And now I want to welcome our joke master, Mark, to give his awesome joke. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you, fellow Toastmasters. I don't want to be oblivious to international cultures, but I hope this one will work for everybody. One day, Bob gets a phone call. It's his doctor. Doctor says, Bob, I have your diagnosis from the testing we did on you. And I have some bad news and some worse news. Bob says, Doc, maybe you better give me the bad news. The doctor says, Bob, looking at your test results, you've got 24 hours left to live. Bob says, Doc, that's awful. What news could be worse? The doctor says, Bob, I meant to call you yesterday.
Oh, nice. Thank you so much, Mark, for your interesting joke. You always have a lot back to your side for the joke stack. I love that. And next, I think I'm very excited to move into our speech section. We have two great speakers tonight. And if I'm right, the first speaker will be Lucy, right? So for Lucy, the speech title is Make Failure a Comma, Not Period. She's working on the level 3.1 in Pathway, which is planning and implementing 2 to 3 minutes report or 5 to 7 minutes speech on your experience. Develop a small scale project and implement a plan with or without help from others. Okay, let's welcome Lucy.
Sorry, Anna, just to interrupt, not to interrupt, but yeah, I think Mark is going to be her evaluator. Is Mark aware? Okay, that's fine.
Yes, Mark is the first evaluator. Thank you.
Thank you.
It was 7 a.m. in the morning, and I was running with Jack, my fiance. We were running for 10 minutes, and I was like, oh, Jack, I couldn't make it. I was out of breath, and my stomach aches, and my legs are not listening to me. Lucy, Jack said to me, do you still remember why we decided to run? Because you said I am overweight and I have to lose weight before our wedding day. And if I run, you run, right? Oh God, why I torture myself like this? Okay, fine, Jack, I failed. You know what? Marriage is about love. It is not about our weight. Let's forget about running. Dear friends, have you ever set up a goal? Do you have a moment when you tell yourself that I'm gonna do this no matter what? Have you ever exhausted all your energy for one thing? In 2019, I made up my mind to write 100 articles. I tell myself that if I make it, I will give myself a big, big treat, a trip to Egypt. I really want to go there. I can feel that the pyramid is waiting for me right there. And I shared this goal with some of my friends. One of my friends, Isabella, said, "Hey, Lucy, some time ago, I had the same idea like you, but I stopped writing for a long time now." I thought to myself, "Lucy, I am diligent and hardworking, so I would definitely end up the same fate as Isabella." The fact shows that I am right. Never think too high of ourselves. Another friend, Ling Ling, said, "Hey, Lucy, it was a brilliant idea, but I had a very serious question for you. How much would it cost for a trip to Egypt?" Yeah, my friends are more realistic than me. Finally, I failed at 62 out of 100 articles. It was a sudden stop. I stopped writing right from I came back from a trip to Turkey. Maybe it was because unconsciously I believed that a trip to Turkey is very much like a trip to Egypt. So I cannot feel the motivation behind me anymore. And then it occurred to me that what is more difficult than start is to restart. Because I have dozens of reasons to not to restart. It's okay if I don't do it. I don't have to do it. There is no meaning doing it. It doesn't help me at all. Or I already did it for 10 days. It's enough. No, I work all day, whole day. I'm too busy to work. I'm too busy to work. So, do you feel that? And then your head will be bombarded with all those ideas and you will tell yourself that, okay, stop. I will do it tomorrow. But when tomorrow comes, you will only find much more reasons to not to start. And then gradually you will forget all about this and continue with your life as if nothing happens. Dear friends, does it feel familiar to you? Well, we always fail even if we have a goal. One day, I found the answer in Peter Drucker's book, The Practice of Management. In this book, he stated the SMART, SMART principle. He said a goal must be a goal must be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. Let's re-examine my goal with this SMART principle. Specific and measurable, yes. I need to write 100 articles. Attainable, yes, if I keep on working on it, it is attainable. Relevant, yeah, it is relevant for me because it improves my writing skills. Time-based. I found that I failed to make it time-based. I didn't set a time limit for it. I can even finish it in 2050. So now what I need to do is to set a time limit. For example, I have to finish it within a year. That means I have to write an article every 3.65 days, which equals to 2 articles 1 week. I can even make it more specific. I should write an article from 7 to 9 p.m. every Sunday and Wednesday. Now I know where to restart. I just need to restart right from this week. 7 p.m. on Wednesday. That night, I sent a message to my friend Isabella. Hi, Isabella, it's Lucy. I once set up my mind to write 100 articles, but I failed halfway. Now I decided to restart. I hope that you could regain your courage to restart like me, because being failed is not dreadful, but being knocked down and stay down forever. Never think too high of ourselves, but also never think too low of ourselves. Yes, right now I'm out of breath. My stomach aches and my legs are not listening to me, but instead of a complete give up,
I could take a rest, stand up, and continue because my wedding day is literally coming. And I didn't finish that sentence. It should be like this. Jack, if you run, I run. If I stop, you stop. But if I choose to restart, we restart together. So dear friends, being failed is not a full stop. It is not a period. It could be a comma if we stand up and continue. But if we tell ourselves that that's it, it's enough, then it will be a full stop. So dear friends, let's together make our failure a comma instead of a full stop. Thank you. Back to Toastmaster. Thank you very much, Lucy, for your speech. I really love the story of you and your fiancé. Just one thing, I feel, why you want to losing weight when I'm here and everybody else here? Okay. So you are looking perfect. I believe you will be the most beautiful fiancé in your wedding. Don't be too worried about that. But good job for your speech. Thank you. Next is our second speaker, Shruti, and she is working on the dynamic leadership pathway, level 5, project 2, part 2. Her title is A Ray of Hope. Now let's welcome Shruti to start her speech.
Am I audible and visible?
Sorry, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
What if you are allowed to pursue your all the dreams? What if you can see your every goal being achieved, even without any of the hardships? It's life. If we do not face any hardships, we are not making ourselves strengthened enough to do the same. Imagine you climb a mountain even without any of prior experience. Also, with this, let me give you all the key to unlock all the doors of your success. Will it be an amazing experience? It will be. Definitely yes. Fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests, let me take you up on the journey of Umang, a ray of hope, where I completely evolved into a new version of myself. From the childhood days, I witnessed my parents to help out all others. They always tried to contribute for good to society, to educate the children, the kids, to get a better level of education. Witnessing all these things, on 20th June 2020, I was going through an old album where I recollected all my memories. The same day, I started and decided to have a platform where I can assign all, to have a stage and share it with all others. With this in mind, I designed a prototype for Umang, a ray of hope. And I started approaching people, formed a team of 10 members. And then here we started up our own journey. And Umang, a ray of hope, is an initiative which is started with the motive of acknowledging the torchbearers of positive changes to society. Also, allow the people to share in their views and thoughts to all others. and bring in their stories of change with a vision of creating all the larger audience aware that yes, even without materialistic resources, we can bring in positive changes to the society with a team and with a vision in mind. We started our journey. Our team comprised of many members. The best part of it was teamwork and the 10 pillars of our initiative were the interview chairs, Priya Jain and Manjeesh Pimpalekar, the registration chair, Haritosh Srivastav, the content chair, Abhay Kaushik, Diksha Khandelwal, the PR chair, Trishla Khabya and Richa Tiwari, the entertainment chair, Shivangi Bhale Rao and Harshit Khandelwal. With this, we all started working and the team definitely with lot of hard work and dedication started working very efficiently. And we have our guiding committee which comprised of Manjeesh, Richa and Haritosh. Here came our first week where we went live for the first time on our Facebook page and started up our initiative with a wow speaker, Vaibhav Nahata, who was sharing his insights on pursuit of happiness. I learned the first learning of my life from that to how and when take up steps in a balanced manner and get up to success with those. And in fact, even in the challenging times, we can give our best. With this in mind, I moved ahead. But there come our first challenge. We were lagging a bit in able to create awareness more. So we started up figuring out what can be done. But as a team, we faced it well and geared up for the next week. In our second week, our renowned speaker, Aditya Maheswaran, joined us and shared his insights on breaking barriers. Here came the second learning of my life, where I learned that no matter what the barriers we face, it's our mindset which can make us or break us completely. But destiny, it had some other plans. And we were very happy and because everything was very smooth going. But it's life. Here nothing goes smooth. Just one day before the session on 15th of August, at night of 13th August, I got hospitalized due to certain health issues. And I was losing all the hope. And I prayed that at least I should be getting well enough session. And thankfully, it happened. And with the help of our team, they proved it again. And another successful milestone was achieved, where our guest, a TEDx speaker, Pinky Barus, appreciated us all, and we all found our freedom from all the negative thoughts and, of course, the fear of unknown. And we realized that yes, if we are able and we are doing the hard work, we can achieve each and everything. Again, with 200% of confidence, now we geared up for our semi-finale week. And with all the planning in mind, we approached and got our final semi-finale guest, who is Amit Trivedi, the city representative of Robin Hood Army, an organization which feeds millions of needy people with food. Also, he attained and guided us with all the heart-touching stories, which we started. Also, with this, we all were again pumped up with all the confidence and learned how to express gratitude. Also, we were able to figure out that service to mankind is the service to God. Last but not the least, I was super excited for our finale week, which we witnessed on 29th of August last month. Also, I was super excited for it. Our guest Aishwarya Kalro joined us for the same, who is a social entrepreneur and as a founder of Social Pukar, which is a social initiative. She made us realize that yes, all our dreams can be pursued if we have the courage to achieve them. Going on through all the sessions, it became a vital part of our life. We all were completely engaged. Even we went live on Instagram with all our finalist participants, and we heard the cows of having a second season as well. Also, Umang became a very important part, and it taught us that no matter what comes up, what struggles you face, but it's you, if you have the courage, if you have the ability, you can break them all and pursue all your dreams. Also, one important key learning was that leadership is not a title, but it's a behavior. We need to live it. And with this, I would just like to ask you all, what do you think? Can we be a ray of hope for all others? Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Great. Shruti, thank you a lot for your last question to me. I still want to thinking, I don't know what I should do in this condition. Thank you a lot for your speech. And I will leave the question and the answers to our dear evaluator later. Thanks again. Next, I want to move to our very exciting section of today is our table topic section. And Haritosh.
Yeah, I can quickly give the timing report, and in the meanwhile, people can vote for the best speaker. So I'm just launching the poll. Our first speaker, Lucy, spoke for 7 minutes and 2 seconds, and Shruti was a bit over time with 9 minutes and 47 seconds. So you would be seeing a screen, option to poll. I see 60% people have voted. Let's wait for 2 more seconds. And we are doing, from timing perspective, we are about right. So I'm ending the poll and over to Jerry for table topic session.
Thank you very much, Haritosh. I have been oblivious about using the word oblivious, so I'm going to try and use it a bit more during this table topic session. And I'm challenging each of the speakers upon whom I will call to do the same. Our topic today, of course, is you didn't ask, but, and then giving the statement a chance to be completed. I'm going to ask you some questions. I have some people already selected who will be participating. Some know they're going to participate, and for a couple, it will be a surprise. But they are, at least one of them is a DTM, so I know this will not be a challenge for them. Please remember that table topics, the goal is to speak for at least 1 minute, and hopefully no more than 2, maximum 2.5 minutes. Begin with your greeting, answer the question, give us some points or development, and then have a nice effective close. So my very first question goes to Nancy.
Sorry, Jerry. Sorry to interrupt. Do we know who's evaluating table topics?
Thank you. Good question. No, we do not.
Okay, can we volunteer Mark if he's okay?
Or could we just alternate odd and even with Mark and the second evaluator, whose name I forget?
Is that
Nancy.
Nancy?
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Mark
So
is
let
odd.
Mark do the odd one, and Nancy can do the even one.
Well, then I won't call on Nancy for the first question. Yes, I will, because this is the first question. So Nancy, you're a DTM.
Yes, Jerry.
I didn't ask you this originally, but I'm going to ask you now. Who is the person you most admire, who has been the most inspirational in your life? And tell us about that person.
Thank you, Jerry. This is a great question because I've thought of that for a lot of chances and time. Why? Because, you know, I just participated in our contest in China in March. And that would be a great chance for me to think about my life because this year is I just passed my 40th birthday. So I started to realize some of the persons in my life that really touched me and gave me deep impression, and also the one I admire most. And I've thought of one in Toastmasters. And that is the one I think most of you were very familiar with. That is Kwon. He just participated in the national contest, and sadly, this year he overtime, so he didn't got what he I think deserved to. But I think his spirit really touched me, and he is the one I really admire. Why? Because he had the spirit. What kind of spirit? That spirit is that he participated for many years contests. That spirit is never giving up his hope and his idea to be the champion or to be the one who would be shining on the stage. And to be shining on the stage is most Toastmasters' dream. But some of us, or we could say many of us, to just because of some difficulties, we give up that hope. But he didn't. I can imagine that he always met some difficulties that maybe most of us couldn't imagine, but he still not giving up or participate or just keep that hope. I think that spirit touched me, and he is the one in Toastmasters really I admire. Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you. That was very inspirational. I wish I would know that person myself. It sounds like a wonderful person to have had in your life. My next question is going to Yosh. Yosh, I did not realize that you have actually been to 10 of the states in India. I've only been to 4. And I'm going to ask you to pick one of those states. And if by any chance, either Haryana or Punjab is one of them, think about using that one. But pick one of your 10 states and explain to me why you think it is so special. Yosh. I can't hear you, and I don't know why. You're not muted.
Perhaps we move on and get Yash when his hardware problems are solved.
I'll move on, Yosh, and I'll come back to you, and it will be the same. You gonna try again? I'll come back to you with the same question after a bit, okay? So moving on, my next question is to Sharon, and I'm intrigued by your adventuresome lifestyle, particularly as you were younger, and I suspect that you have an adventuresome lifestyle still today. I'd like to hear some of the more exciting plans, one of the more exciting plans or goals that you have for the near future. Sharon.
Thank you, Table Topics Master, for asking me about my exciting goals for the near future. The reason I did so many things when I was younger is because my mother told me I could do anything, and I believed her. So yes, I know how to ride a motorcycle. I have a pilot's license, and I've camped. I've done search and rescue. Now that I've gotten older, I realize that I am not invincible. And some of the things that I was oblivious to as a young person, I am aware of now. Bones that creak, things that ache. I recently retrieved a bicycle. I gave all my grandchildren bikes, and now they're going to college or they're in high school. They don't ride anymore. So I went and got one of the bikes back and decided I'm going to start riding bikes again. Now, granted, the last time I got on a bike, I rode one block, fell, and then walked it back home and gave that bike to a grandchild. So I have now retrieved the bike and I started to ride it again. I live in a quiet, peaceful neighborhood. And as I started to ride again, my knees said, no, you still have arthritis in both knees. So I did not tell them that the bike that I fell off of is now in the shed. And we're going to keep that between everyone here in this meeting and let them be oblivious to it. Thank you, Toastmaster. Table Topics Master.
Thank you, Sharon, and artfully working the word in there at the end. I rode one leg one day of the 500, and I really should qualify that by saying I walked up a lot of those last hills, and I walked across the finish line, but I did it. So moving on, Yosh, have you think you have that worked out yet? That's strange. You sure the connection is in tight to your...
Yes, why don't you try rejoining the meeting?
Yeah, try rejoining, and again, I'll save your question, but I'm going to move on now then to Jan. And Jan, you, I believe, said you were from Bloomington area, and we have this theme of the Hilly 100, and I'd like you to first just briefly explain to our guest what the Hilly 100 is, and then I would like you to also then explain why we should tackle this event.
Thank you very much, Topic Master, fellow Toastmasters, and I don't know if we have guests here today. I live in the Bloomington area, and I've lived here for over 30 years. I've been married 34 years to my husband, and I didn't know what the Hilly 100 was until I started dating him. And my husband's a very athletic guy. He decided that he wanted to ride the Hilly 100, and we were dating, so I got a bike, I got a trek bike, he had a trek bike, and I rode for the first time on toe clips. I stopped at a street light, and then I forgot my feet were in the toe clips, and I fell over right by a red light in the middle of the road because I wasn't, thinking on my feet are in the toe clips. So it was a learning process for me to ride a bike and to do the Hilly 100. The Hilly 100 is a 2-day event where you ride approximately 50 miles each day up and down the hills in southern Indiana on a bicycle. And it's a wonderful event because you could have, one year there were 5,000 people. This year it's canceled because of the pandemic, but they have a lot of food outside, a lot of rest stops, and at evening they have a lot of entertainment with bands and music, so it's a great event. But it's a worthwhile thing for you to consider. But my husband, he did ask me to marry him after I rode 100 miles on the Hilly 100, And he said, will you marry me? And will you make this a tradition that we ride the Hilly 100 every year for the rest of the years that we're married? And just like Sharon, I had trouble with my knees, and I immediately says, no, I'm not going to ride the Hilly 100 again for the rest of my life with married to you. That's a no. That's not going to happen. No way. So I said, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to marry you. And a week or so later, he reconsidered, and I am married to him now for 34 years. But thank you for that great question.
Thank you. And I'm glad that you were not oblivious to my curiosity for wanting to know what you answered them. You kind of you hinted at that in your opening comments at the beginning of the meeting. Yosh, how are we doing? Do we have it worked out?
Yeah, am I audible now?
Great. Well, if you recall, yours will be the last question, and it is, you visited 10 of the states, and I'd like you to pick one of them and give us, explain to us why it's so special. And if one of them happens to be Haryana or Punjab, I would appreciate hearing about that, but the choice is yours.
Yeah, thanks for giving me the opportunity. So yeah, the good part is that I have visited both the states. If you talk about Haryana or Punjab, the common thing in these two states is they are sharing the same capital city, which is Chandigarh. And if I would like to talk about Punjab, the city which I like, the state which I like most, I would go with the Punjab, because of the people and the geographical area that we have in Punjab. It is called the agricultural land of India, and it is contributing the major agriculture output that we are getting. So we call it as a wheat grainy field state of India as well. And the water is also pure in this state, and there are 5 rivers which are following in this state. The good thing is, if you just see the all over the India, the people are very modest and honest, but especially in this particular state, you will find people are very helpful, and they respect each other a lot, and there are a lot of the major community in this state is Sikhism. You will find most of the Sikh community. If you talk about 75% of the Sikh community that we have in the world, it stay in Punjab, and they are very helpful. So that's why I like the Punjab very much.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I share your feelings about Punjab. I would have loved to have made it to Amritsar, but I was only able to be in Chandigarh and then in Panchkula across the river, I believe there. But thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it. That comprises my table topics questions for today. So I'm going to return control of this meeting back to our Toastmaster. Haritosh, take it away.
Thank you so much. But I am the timer, and I'm going to give the timing report, and our Toastmaster is Anna.
Oh, I'm sorry, Anna.
She's much better than me. Okay. I'm also launching the poll. So while I'm giving the report, you should be able to select the best table topics. Nancy spoke for 2 minutes, 9 seconds. Sharon spoke for 1 minute, 30 seconds. Jan spoke for 2 minutes, 8 seconds. And Yash spoke for 1 minute, 29 seconds.
By Nancy, I think you mean by Lucille on the palette. I think you mean Nancy.
Yes, sorry. Yeah.
You going to change it, or should we just vote accordingly?
Just vote. I think if I change it, it will take too much. So yeah.
Okay.
If you want to vote for Nancy, vote for Lucy.
Now that's being a good mentor.
Okay, I think we have enough vote, and let me pass it back to our Toastmaster, Anna.
Thank you, Haritosh, for stepping in, and thank you, Jerry, for the wonderful table topic section. And I also really love all the answers from members. It feels a lot different when we have so many people with different background with their own story to share in here. Thank you a lot. This is exactly the exciting and amazing part of our international club. So next, we will move into the very valuable section of our meeting, which is the evaluation section. Our first evaluator is Mark, will evaluate for the speech of Lucy. Welcome, Mark.
Fellow Toastmasters, and especially Lucy, I want to talk about Lucy's frankly wonderful speech. Now, that's how hard we are at Toastmasters. We start off by saying it was a wonderful speech, and it was. Lucy, you do a lot of things that are admirable and that I enjoyed. I've got to tell you, you had me for the whole speech. My eyes were glued on you. You are animated, you are compelling, your awareness of the audience, which is to say the camera, I believe was perfect. I enjoyed the speech thoroughly. You have a lot of gestures, some of which are really very nicely thought out and executed. 62, yeah, I've never seen that done before, and I thought that was pretty neat. You also have some gestures which are kind of like sparrow wings fluttering, real busy, but not accomplishing much. So you might want to think about which gestures you're going to use when. The thing I would suggest to you would be a couple. Now, these are my opinions, but I would like to see you work on pauses. You see what I just did? You're listening to what I'm going to say now because I paused. When you want to drive a point home, a pause is a wonderful mechanism. The other part I thought was a little difficult to comprehend was the structure of your speech. You introduced the book, The SMART Principle, rather late in the speech and started working on it and then stopped. Was everything that went before it the introduction I was thinking? And this is a talk about the SMART Principle book? My point is, from my personal preference, if you're going to introduce something important and significant, do so, do it early, or otherwise don't. The other structural point I would suggest, and this occurred to me because it's something I work on a lot for myself, is conclusion. You had at least one powerful conclusion. And I thought to myself right then, wow, what a great ending. I believe it was on the running story. You know what I'm going to say next, don't you? I'm making a point with a pause. You kept going. Take a powerful conclusion to your speech. And stop. Just like I did now. I'm done. Thank you for a wonderful speech, Lucy.
Thank you, Mark, a lot for your evaluation. I always learned from your feedback for myself as well. So next, let me welcome our second evaluator, Nancy, to evaluate Shruti's speech. Welcome, Nancy.
Hello, thank you. And today I'm going to evaluate Shruti's speech. Shruti just gave us her speech of the high performance leadership. And the purpose of that speech is to apply her leadership and planning knowledge to develop a project plan, organize a guidance committee, and implement the plan with the help of a team. So I would like to say, just now, Shruti gave us a whole process of her project and how she did it, and with the help of her team. So from that point, we could say at some moment, Shruti told us some names of her committee. And that is the first thing I would like to highlight, is that from that part, we could know that it's a work of that's what it would be our teamwork, and should he just organize that team? So, but that would come up my first suggestion. That is, our club is an international club, so some of us may not be familiar with those members. So just to try to find a plan or some method to make it more clear and familiar to all of us. And we could find out that from each part of her speech, he would give us a golden sentence to summarize what she just said, the process, her success, and her failures, just like it is the mindset that make it complete the job. And that would be give us so much power, and the pace would be perfect for us to know more about the process and her project. My suggestion, the second suggestion would be the whole process was so clear and we could get the power from that. However, if you could make it more details to that process, like one day you and your team met the difficulties, but what kind of difficulties? You just told us, but give us more details. We could feel what you felt at that moment. That would be perfect. And also, if you get the success moment, just let us feel that, just like we were just in that picture and feel your power. So that would be my suggestion. All in all, that would be a great speech. I like your product, your teamwork, as well as your speech. Thank you, Shruti. Back to Toastmaster.
Thank you a lot, Nancy. Wow. It's one of the best evaluation I have heard, that with so much energy and emotion inside of your evaluation. I'm really looking forward to see one of your speech. I feel like it will be a great show. So join us once in the future, please, for a speaker. And thank you, Nancy, again. And next, I'm oblivious to see that I forgot to ask for table topic evaluator in the beginning. But we always have Mark. Yeah, Mark. Welcome, Mark, as a table topic evaluator.
Pretty soon, everybody's going to be sorry they invited me because I talk so much, but here I am talking again. I evaluated table topics. I did it very briefly, fearing we were running out of time because of our late start. So these are concise. Nancy, I did yours first. You were clearly extremely comfortable. You had a nice structure to your speech. You're a good person for an impromptus. The one thing I would suggest to you, and I caught this, I mentioned it before, pauses. You had a sentence, that spirit is never give up. Try this. That spirit is never give up. Then you have sold your point. Pauses will work. Thank you, Nancy. That was very well done. Sharon, you have a clear voice. You told a wonderful anecdote. You had a nice structure. The only thing I would say from the viewpoint of a comment is that you and I have exactly the same problem. It's headlight glare from the screens. Kind of like having our own personal deer in the headlights. We're trapped. Here we are. That is not a comment on you or your speaking. It's just the reality we live with when we've got these to work with. Thank you, Sharon. Jan, I lost several seconds of yours because of your speech because of a video or internet connection lag issue. You have a wonderful, clear voice. You are a stand-up comic, and that, I think, is evident from the viewpoint of how clear and confident your voice is. You were funny during the speech. The one thing I would have liked you to do was introduce the event, the Hilly 500, before you told the anecdote about it. That might have given it a little bit more structure from the viewpoint of people who weren't familiar. Fine impromptu and well executed. Yash, you had a solid answer, and again, there was an internet lag that I lost several seconds, so I'm sure whatever you said during those several seconds was powerful and valuable, but I missed it, sorry. There are two things I would like you to think about. One, right now, you are making excellent eye contact with the camera. I feel like you're looking right at me, and that's a good thing. During your response, you were not. When we're speaking, we want to make sure we know who we're talking to, and believe me, it's not all the thumbnails on the screen. It's that little tiny dot. It's the camera. So that was one thing I would suggest to you. Other than that, I thought it was straightforward, and we have a lot of Sikhs in Indiana, and boy, are they neat people. So it's fun when we meet them here. They're just the kind of folks we like, and we've got some good stories about them, but I'll not tell right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark, a lot for your evaluations. You're always best. And thanks again for standing up for us. And next, I want to welcome Haritosh to giving our timers report for evaluators and vote for the best evaluators.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. If you're not able to see my video, okay, now you can see. Mark as speech evaluator was 3 minutes 5 seconds, and Nancy was 2 minutes 36 seconds. I'm also launching the poll for best evaluator. And again, I don't know, sorry, Nancy, it's not personal. I again misspelled your name. I think there's something wrong with me today and I need to take a break. So that's pretty much report. Mark took about 3 minutes 25 seconds for table topics evaluation. And yeah, please vote for the best evaluator, and I'll return the control to our Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Haritosh. And next, I want to welcome our grammar for the grammar report for Sharon. Welcome, Sharon.
Thank you for this opportunity. Mark used the word of the day. I used it several times. If I missed anybody else, I apologize. But I would have to give the trophy for word of the day to Jerry. He used it more than 5 times. Here's your trophy, but you can't keep it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sharon, very much. Oh, I didn't expect there's a trophy. You should show it in the beginning. Maybe we will be like fighting for that. Jerry, next time you have a competitor. Okay, be careful. Thank you, Sharon. And next, let me welcome our accountant of today, Jen. Welcome, Jen.
Thank you, Anna. Today I was the counter, and this is a group that it doesn't say or very much, but I listened very closely. Yash, you said one and a when you were doing a transition, I heard. I believe I said one and Nancy, I heard you say one during the introduction, and then one Nancy said one The big filler of the day was the word so. Jerry said so once. Sharon said it 3 times, and Lucy said it once. Also, what I had a hard time figuring out is, are we using the word and as a filler, or do some people have compound sentences and just use the word and a lot? In Shirley's speech, I couldn't tell whether the and was part of a compound sentence or you were starting sentences with the word and. And it says like, and with the help, and we said that about 3 or 4 times. So I don't know if that was part of a compound sentence or not. So I just said so. And it's one of those things to try to think when you're speaking. It's a good transition, and then Lucy used and then several times during the speech, which was appropriate because and then that happened, but you don't want to use it too many times so that it's follows every paragraph, and then you speak a little bit, and then you speak a little bit more. So be careful with the word and. Thank you. That's all I have to say.
Thank you a lot, Jen. That's a very detailed report. I have one question. When we see filler words for so, are we called so what or something like that as a so or not? Just a question for thinking for everyone. And thank you again, Jen. And next, I want to welcome our today's general evaluator, Haritosh, to give his report. And also, he have the voting result in his hand. He will be showing that result to us. Welcome, Haritosh.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. You are waiting for the general evaluators report, right? And I do have a lot of things to cover today. This is not, let me be honest and get, this is not how we want this meeting to run. There were too many roles to be filled before the start of the meeting. And also, because of my bad communication not being clear in my emails, our Toastmaster also got confused that the meeting is next week. So I take that on me. So that has caused a lot of inconvenience, and I take it on me. I should have been more clear in my communication and more frequent in my communication, and should not have been so oblivious. Finally, I got the word of the day. Now coming to the good part, because as they say, every cloud has a silver lining. There were so many good parts today because I thought today we came together as a team to make this whole meeting successful. I'd like to thank so many people today. Sharon for taking up the role of the word master pretty much after the start of the meeting and coming up with the word of the day. I thought that was absolutely brilliant. It was not a word which is commonly used, but it's a very good word if we have it in our vocabulary. Jan, thank you for volunteering to be the R counter. Your report was also very succinct, at the same time covering up the main topics. And yeah, we all have those words that we tend to use often, and we don't choose to, we tend to ignore that thing. Also, I'd like to commend Mark for coming up with a universal joke. I mean, whenever we talk about joke, it is very sensitive that happens, but I would say nobody can stop laughing after that joke. So that was done fantastic. Jerry, great table topics and making sure that we are ending on time, making sure that you are choosing the people who have not yet spoken much. So great job, and we all keep learning from you every time. Both of our evaluators, Mark and Nancy, were really good in terms of not only commending the speakers, that's what we hear, but also giving them specific recommendation that helps for the speakers to be here and improve every time that come. One of the silver lining for today's meeting is I hope we are going to end on time despite my long evaluation. So thank you everyone, great job. And with that said, let me announce today's results. So I am going to share my screen, and what I want you all to do is please unmute yourself. You might hear some sound and you will have to replicate that, as we say in IT word. So let's go with the best table topics, and the best table topic speaker is I did use a pause mark. Our best evaluator is the pause master, and our best speaker is Lucy. Congratulations. So congratulations to all the winners, and over to our Toastmaster of the day.
Okay, thank you very much, Haritosh, for your general evaluation and the amazing presentation. And congratulations again for everyone who did a great job today to win, and for everyone who did a great job to support in the meeting. And last but not least, I have two very important things to announce before or closing of the meeting. First, our next meeting is on September 19th. All the roles are open to enroll, and this will be a special meeting. We have a combined meeting with the Rainbow Bridge Toastmaster Club. And we have a very great education section, which invited a teacher. Her name is Sandia. She is teaching for the voice and how you make your voice like more powerful. And I personally take her class, and she is a great teacher. I'm not a good student, but she is a great teacher. She will be sharing your education section in next meeting. Please come to join us and learn her talent in the voice to contribute in her talent of teaching how to build up your voice. The second thing is even more important. As majority of you may know, our club is in the charter procedure now. Our target to have our club chartered on October 1st. To do that, we need to have all of you submit your application, charter member application. It's a different form than the normal application form, even though majority of things are same. I will send to our chart shortly and fill out the form and send it to Haritosh, myself, Mark, and Jerry. The second thing you need to do is pay your dues. If you are existing Toastmaster member, you only need to pay the $45 per half year plus $6 for the club fee, which is majority for us is using for buy the room account and a couple small things. And your charter fee will your membership fee will be submitted to me for the Chinese member and US members, and submit to a Haritosh for the Indian members and UK members. If you're out of these two places, you can contact both of us and see which place is more convenient for the currency to pay. That's the main purpose of this. And please remember and submit your application and fees by next meeting. Then we have enough time to fill out the paperwork. We need to have 20 members in total to submit everything to chartered or club. Thank you a lot. I will now put the very important contact information in our group chat. Please remember to save this information before you left the meeting. The first part is the email contact information for all 4 of our major charter commitment of our club. Second, give me 1 second. I need a little bit time to find our application forms, and Haritosh will send out that to everybody by email as well. So the members who haven't seen the emails from us before, please give us our email address. It helps us to directly reach out to you for all the club events. I know for Chinese members, we have the WeChat, but we don't know how long WeChat will last for, unfortunately. So please, let's have the email as a backup to do the communication as well. Okay, so that's all I have for tonight. And wish all of you have a great weekend, and thank you again to join us. Now feel free to open your mic and talk to each other, but the major meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. I've also posted the link for next week's agenda, next meeting's agenda here. I'm posting it again. If you want to take a role while it's still vacant, please go ahead and put your name against, and I'll be better in my communication for sure.
I have a question. Do we pay the dues with a check where we mail them to someone, or is it through PayPal?
That's a very good question, Jen. For the US side, I can accept either mail a check or PayPal, or directly like a transaction through the Chase Pay. All this method works. Yeah, for UK and India, it will depend on Haritosh how it works. For China,
for UK and India, sorry to interrupt. Yeah, for UK and India, I have account details both in my Indian account and UK account, HSBC and few banks in India. Whichever is comfortable with the members, I can take payments in that, and then I can forward that to Anna. Okay. Any other feedback? I'm gonna